Welcome, friends and foes, survivors and killers. Let's sit around the campfire and... Wait, hang on a minute. This isn't Dead by Daylight. I mean, it looks a bit like Dead by Daylight. It's got a campfire, it's got a pig, it's got looping, it's got eggs, it's got gnomes, it's even got a dog. But it's very much not Dead by Daylight at all, is it? Let's talk about the new Asym on the block. The freshly announced MOBA Asym mishmash extraordinaire, TagTime. And when I mean new Asym, I mean really new. I mean formally announced at the Steam Screamfest today kind of new. That is if I've got the upload date right, and if I haven't, well, sorry guys. This video is brought to you by the team at Niila, the tiny independent studio in Copenhagen who brought this little game to life. And we'll have a little bit of a chat with them later. Before we get on with it, let's talk about the game itself, because all of this is a lot simpler than it looks. TagTime is a 2v6 asymmetrical top-down game where 6 little fellows known lovingly as runts have to destroy one of these 3 eggs in this arena before the team of 2 monsters can carve them all up and boil them in the cauldron that spawns in the centre of the map. These monsters, a werewolf and a witch, are incredibly powerful and can kill a runt in just a few hits, and it's down to the runts to use map resources and clever pathing to stall the chasing monsters and buy the team as much time as they can. But there's a bit of a catch. Most of the map resources and defences you have to build yourself. This is where the game's MOBA elements really start to become noticeable. In a traditional asymmetrical game, the map resources are pre-generated. Unless you're playing Rancid Abattoir, in which case, lol, what map resources? One team uses these resources, and once the other team gets rid of them, they're hard to use again. But in TagTime, the map resources, those being rocks, trees and corn, continuously replenish themselves and can be mined for materials to build barricades, out of stone, wood or straw respectively. Straw makes for fragile barricades but is easily mined, while stone takes a longer time to mine but creates the strongest barricades that will take the monster longer to break. So outside of chases, a runt's time is split in 3 ways: hacking away at the eggs, mining resources and building barricades. Most of the time, barricades will be placed ahead of time to clog up an area before a monster gets to you. But if you're quick enough, you can put these down in chase too to buy yourself a little bit of distance. Especially since runts are small enough to squeeze through the gap between the barricades, but the monsters are too big for that and will have to break through them one by one. The only core mechanic left to really explain is the cauldron, where your unlucky runt will wind up if they find themselves on the bad side of a monster and can't make it away before their surprisingly brutal dismemberment. When you're dead, you play as a little spirit that can buff the mining speed of your teammates or repair damaged structures that the monsters have left up. But the tension only gets higher as more bodies start to pile up. To respawn their teammates from the cauldron, another runt has to go up to it and start breaking it, a task that gets easier the more runts are inside the cauldron. Offset obviously by the fact that it's riskier to break the cauldron if there aren't so many of you still alive because a monster can more easily come back to patrol it. It makes for a really interesting risk-reward dynamic. Do you waste more time by trying to instantly break people out of the cauldron while the monsters are dealing with your teammates, or do you let them simmer for a little bit knowing that if you go back later to raise multiple people at once, a monster is more likely to have time to intercept you? In my experience in the game's playtest evenings, this is where games were won and lost. Once the bodies start to drop and the runts have to coordinate a cauldron break while bringing resources to protect the cauldron while they're breaking it. If the runts can pull this off, the monsters lose all their pressure on their team and have to work double time to start taking heads again before the group can start smashing the eggs. But if they don't, they'd better hope they have an egg about to pop, because otherwise, yeah, it's gonna get bad. And that's really the core gameplay of TagTime in a nutshell. There's definitely more stuff to it, like the power-ups you can stumble across in the world, and the different abilities that each character has, but the core gameplay is very simple and intuitive to pick up once you've played a match or two. And I can say this from my own experience in the playtest sessions. I came in with very little knowledge about this game and no real expectations, but even in just the hour I spent playing TagTime with the devs and playtesters, I started to find myself a lot more comfortable with the gameplay. This is helped by what I think is TagTime's biggest asset as a MOBA light: how quick matches are. A common gripe I hear about the big boy MOBAs like Dota, League of Legends and Deadlock are how long matches can be. And this exacerbates the game's steep learning curves full of complex mechanics and kits because you'll need to get in a lot of games before you really understand what you're doing, to get to the point where you're good enough to learn how to get good. But short matches in a simple gameplay loop work really well in TagTime's favour from a new player's perspective. There's no shop, no laning or extra resource management beyond what you can mine, you just load in and start digging. Before I go on though, I want to talk a little bit about why I'm making this video, because it's only fair to view a sponsored video with a healthy amount of skepticism. But I want to affirm something. Yes, Niila are paying me for this video, but they're a tiny Danish dev team. They're not exactly paying a king's ransom, and I wouldn't ever expect them to. At least they're certainly not paying enough for me to tell you something that I don't already believe for myself. And I believe TagTime is definitely worth some attention. But I didn't want this video to just feel like an ad, you know? I wanted to give the opportunity for the folks at Niila to let their game shine. So it only made sense to me to invite someone from the dev team to talk about it in their own words, to put TagTime's best foot forward to you directly. And they said yes.
My name is Newbie, and I'm one of the developers behind TagTime, which, as the name implies, is a game of tag. So it's a game where two fairytale monsters try to chase down and catch six small annoying fairytale runts. So it's kind of like this hybrid between MOBA and an asymmetric horror game.
Just letting you know, I don't speak a huge amount during this bit of the video, both because it's Nutva's time to shine, but also because I was at Manchester HorrorCon last week and came back with a nasty case of the con flu, which well and truly fucked up my voice, as you might still be able to hear. Yeah, it's pretty bad. How big would you say is the team behind the game?
So right now we are 7 people in total, and we all have lots of different roles that we take care of because we're like an indie team. So me, for instance, I do project management, I do design, I do some QA, I do marketing and PR, I do administration stuff, and I also do like a lot of janitor stuff. So we're a small team, and everybody is just helping out the best way they can.
So how long have you guys been working on the game?
I think we did the first prototype about 3 years ago, which was just like, okay, let's do a fun prototype. And then we've been working on a bunch of different projects for other people. But I think for the past year, maybe a bit more, we've worked on the TagTime full time. So right now we're just focusing on that game exclusively.
When Nutva told me that TagTime was made by only 7 people, I was kind of stunned. Like, that's such a tiny dev team that they can't even fill one of their own lobbies. But the way I see it, it just makes what's been made here even more impressive. It's the definition of a passion project. You said that TagTime was like a hybrid between a MOBA and asymmetrical horror game.
Yeah.
That's quite the strange mix. What is it that made you want to bring the two together?
Actually, we hadn't thought about the mix to begin with. The game is actually inspired by an old Warcraft 3 map called Sheep Tag, which we just used to play a lot back in the days, and we thought it was so cool and was like, why haven't anybody made like a game like Sheep Tag? So we started with inspiration from Sheep Tag, and then at one point during development, we were like, hey, actually, it's kind of reminds us a bit of like asymmetric horror in terms of gameplay, and it also has these MOBA elements where you have heroes' abilities and the perspective. It's kind of like a MOBA. So suddenly we realized, oh shit, this is actually kind of like a combo, a hybrid between a MOBA and an asymmetric horror. So that's it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't our intent to begin with.
Fantastic. So it was a really kind of unexplored design space that you
Yeah,
saw.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, we like just doing new novel gameplay stuff that hasn't been done before. I mean, we find that super intriguing. Instead of just going for genres that's well known, we like to like, okay, can we make something that's actually new? That's kind of like a really hard challenge, right? But something that we find interesting. But we also just copy a lot of other people. So
The more I played in the playtest sessions, the more I realised that behind this fast-paced, low-stakes and ultimately casual experience, there is a surprising amount of depth in this game, especially once the character abilities start to get involved. Controlling the witch on her broomstick, for example, is legitimately quite challenging, but very rewarding since it lets you travel super fast while flying past barricades and leaving that trail of poison gas. And for the runts, you've got things like managing your blinks with the fairy to get yourself out of a sticky situation and get where you need to be, travelling through terrain or into stealth where you can't easily be followed, or setting up chains of cannon towers with the pig to fire yourself over huge distances in just a second or two. I think once people start playing this game and getting really good at it, we're going to have a level of coordinated gameplay enabled by smart teams I don't think anyone's even close to right now. And I'm hoping the game gets enough players to see that future come to pass. Say a new player starts playing and you could give them a single tip, what would it be?
I think that if you are around one of the small ones, I think I would recommend that you try to play together with one or two others. You can, if you harvest the resources together, you actually harvest faster. So that kind of will give you a boost. And I would also recommend just eat lots of mushrooms because they're power ups, so they give you boosts. And if you're a monster, I think you should try to collaborate with the other monster. Try to make pinch maneuvers to get the runs. So that would be my like newbie advice.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I'd like to clarify. This is something that I was unsure on when I was playing. When you're
Yeah,
mining a resource together, like two runts at once, do you
yeah.
split the resource or do you get like a whole like chunk each?
You actually get the whole chunk each. So it would be the same as you were just harvesting alone.
I'm
You
with
just
you.
harvest faster, but you say get the same amount as if you would if you were harvesting alone.
But of course, for the game to be able to attain that dedicated player base, it doesn't just need a good gameplay loop. It needs a plan. A motive desire by the developers to maintain their game and make changes for its improvement. And for those of us who've been around the block watching Asym's rise and fall over the years, you'll know this is where a lot of dev teams have historically come unstuck. Fortunately, I think the team at Niila care enough about TagTime to be able to commit to this if the game finds its feet. What does the future of TagTime look like to you? Do you got like a content plan going forward that people can be looking forward to?
Yeah. I mean, we have loads of stuff going forward that we would love to implement into the game. I mean, first of all, we want more heroes in the game, right? Just to make super fun hero combis and strategies and counters. I mean, each hero has its own unique ability, and we try to make the abilities like a lot of just fun and randomness. So and it seems that really helps the game a lot. So we want more heroes, and then we also want to um, give them talent trees so you can kind of play around with their abilities. And we want the talent tree to kind of be active talents instead of these boring passive talents. And so that would also probably help to make super cool hero combos and stuff like that. And then, of course, we want some goals for players to work towards. So we would like some progression in the game and some achievements. And we think that it's cool if you tie, cool skins like a funky hat or a cool VFX up to actually achievements. So, like if you have some cool skin, it's because you did something awesome in the game or played
Brilliant.
a lot of stuff like that. And then the last thing that I don't know whether we'll do it or not, but we might do like one last change to the gameplay to kind of like support those epic clutch moments and the suspense and of the game. But we're not certain about that yet.
And I don't think this is all talk either. During the playtests, there was a talents tab in the character selection menus that was there but was greyed out. So clearly this kind of thing is a feature that's currently being worked on, just isn't ready for implementation yet. And when I joined the TagTime Discord server to participate in these playtests, I got to see a ton of concept art from various stages of the game's lifespan, and you can see the improvements as different elements got built up over time. Niila is a team that's rededicated to making TagTime the best it can be, and I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future holds. And while the game isn't due out for a full release until 2025, you can get in on that future early, right now. TagTime's demo is playable this week, starting today on October the 28th all up until November the 4th as part of the Steam Scream Fest. Take a look for yourself, there's a link in the description and in the pinned comment below to the TagTime Steam store and the TagTime Discord server. In a gaming landscape full of battle passes, insipid microtransactions, and a worrying amount of layoffs, it's games like TagTime that I think always need more time in the sun. Experiments in genre and tone made by hard-working independent teams simply for the love of it. I'm not going to forget my first time playing that playtest with Natva and the team, enjoying the experience for what it was for an hour or so, and walking away genuinely looking forward to the next time. I'll be playing a lot of TagTime this week, something chill to relax with and introduce my friends to while I recover from this fucking illness, and if at least some of you are convinced by this video to give it a go too, then my work is done. Hope to see you out there.